Hello, internet people. Welcome to my not-so-glamorous travel video about Peru. Forget the influencer drone shots and soulful ruins. This is for those who know travel is mostly awkward, confusing, and occasionally breathtaking. If you want a curated highlight reel, you're in the wrong place. We're diving into the weird, the uncomfortable, and the hilarious. The real stuff that makes you question your life choices. Peru is more than Machu Picchu. It's headaches, indifferent llamas, and the terror of crossing Lima's streets. So buckle up. This is the Peru you don't see in the brochures. This is my Peru, and honestly, it's a little weird. My Peruvian adventure began with a headache so intense I thought my skull was being forged from the inside out. Altitude in Cusco hits hard. Suddenly, walking to the bathroom feels like a marathon. Locals glide by while I'm gasping for air after tying my shoes. Coca tea tastes like hot lawn clippings, but at least it gives you something to do while you question your life choices. The first 48 hours, confusion, dizziness, and a brotherhood of tourists, united by oxygen deprivation. You're surrounded by ancient wonders, but mostly you're just trying to breathe. Lesson learned, the Andes are in charge, and they'll remind you with every throbbing step. Surviving the altitude, I set out to meet Peru's true icons, llamas. I imagined a magical connection. Reality? Llamas are the rock stars of Peru, cool, aloof, and completely uninterested in me. My attempts at bonding were met with epic indifference and a level of shade I didn't know animals could throw. Alpacas? Even fluffier, just as unimpressed. Tourists, myself included, lined up for selfies, only to be ignored by these four-legged divas. Eventually I accepted my place below the llamas in the Andean social hierarchy. They're not just animals, they're a metaphor for Peru, beautiful, proud, and totally unconcerned with your expectations. You have to respect that. Everyone says you have to try ceviche in Peru, so I made it my mission. I landed in Lima with a single goal, to discover the ceviche that would change my life. The city's energy was infectious, and everywhere I turned someone was raving about their favorite spot. The anticipation built with every step I took. Every aroma that drifted from open doorways and bustling kitchens. I was ready to taste the soul of Peru, one citrus-soaked bite at a time. My first fancy restaurant ceviche? Good, but not life-changing. The presentation was flawless, the fish impossibly fresh, but something was missing. Maybe it was the sterile atmosphere, or maybe my expectations were just too high. I realized that sometimes the most beautiful plates don't always deliver the most memorable flavors. Still, I was undeterred. My quest had only just begun. At a market stall, the lime nearly melted my teeth, intense, aggressive, unforgettable. The vendor squeezed the citrus with a flourish, and the sharp tang hit me like a wave. It was raw, bold, and unapologetic. I could taste the ocean, the sun, and the chaos of the market all in one mouthful. It was a shock to my system, but in the best possible way. Suddenly, I understood why locals swore by these humble stalls. I tried ceviche everywhere. Beaches, mountains, carts. Each place offered a new twist. On the coast, the fish was so fresh it practically danced on my tongue. In the mountains, the flavors were heartier, the corn crunchier, the air thinner. Street carts served up ceviche with a side of adventure and sometimes a little risk. Every region, every vendor, every plate told a different story. Some bland, some transcendent, some a digestive gamble. There were moments of pure bliss when the flavors sang in perfect harmony, and others when I wondered if I'd regret my bravery later. But that was part of the thrill, never knowing what the next bite would bring. Each ceviche was a roll of the dice, a leap of faith, and I savored every unpredictable moment. I realized, perfect ceviche is a myth. The more I searched, the more I understood that perfection is an illusion, especially when it comes to food. What's perfect for one person might be forgettable for another. My quest wasn't about finding a single flawless dish. It was about embracing the endless variety, the surprises, and even the disappointments. There's only a wild spectrum of flavors and experiences. From fiery chilies to sweet potatoes, from delicate white fish to robust shellfish, every ceviche was a new adventure. The diversity was staggering, and I found myself looking forward to each new discovery, each unexpected combination of ingredients and textures. The quest became about variety, not perfection. I started to appreciate the journey itself, the thrill of the search, the stories behind each plate, the people I met along the way. Every ceviche was a snapshot of a place, a moment, a culture. The more I tasted, the more I realized that the real magic was in the diversity, not in chasing an impossible ideal. I learned to appreciate the differences: fish, spice, lèche de tigre. Some ceviches were fiery and bold, others subtle and refreshing. The lèche de tigre, that tangy marinade, varied from place to place, sometimes creamy, sometimes electric with heat. Each cook had their own secret, their own twist, and I found joy in every nuance. I never found the one, but I found a dozen stories. I shared tables with strangers who became friends, swapped recommendations with locals, and laughed over spicy bites that made my eyes water. The memories I collected were richer than any single dish could ever be. Sometimes the journey, and the heartburn, is the real reward. The search for the perfect ceviche led me to places I never expected, and taught me to savor the adventure as much as the food. Even the fiery afterburn became part of the story, a badge of honor, a reminder of flavors that lingered long after the last bite, especially when it's this delicious. In the end, I didn't just taste ceviche, I tasted Peru in all its wild, wonderful variety, and that, I realized, was the real prize. Every trip to Peru seems to have one thing in common: the legendary Inca Trail. Whether you're a seasoned trekker or a first-time adventurer, the allure of this ancient path is impossible to resist. The journey begins with excitement and anticipation as you pass under the iconic entrance sign, surrounded by fellow travelers from all over the world, each with their own dreams of reaching Machu Picchu. Of course, not everyone tackles the full 4-day trek. Many opt for a shorter, more tourist-friendly section, hoping to get a taste of the adventure without the full commitment. But even these easy parts are a challenge for most. What no one really warns you about is the stairs. The Incas, it turns out, were absolutely obsessed with stairs. Steep, uneven, and seemingly endless. Each step is a reminder that this trail was built for a civilization with calves of steel and a love for vertical ascents. These ancient steps are designed to test your endurance, your willpower, and especially your legs. After hours of climbing, your muscles start to burn and you wonder if you'll ever walk normally again. It's like stumbling into the world's very first CrossFit gym, except there's no air conditioning, no water breaks, and the only cheering comes from the birds overhead. Every step is a new challenge, a mini mountain to conquer. With each upward push, you start to question your life choices. Why didn't you train more? Why did you pack so many snacks? And why, oh why did the Incas have to build so many stairs? Meanwhile, the local porters, carrying packs twice the size of yours, glide past as if gravity doesn't apply to them. They chat, laugh, and even jog up the steps, making you feel like you're moving in slow motion. I find myself clinging to rocks, gasping for breath, and questioning every decision that led me here. But then I look up, and the views take my breath away in a different way. The Andes stretch out in every direction, ancient and majestic, making every painful step worth it. The pain is real though, your legs ache, your lungs burn, and you start to wonder if you'll ever feel your feet again. But you keep going, driven by the promise of what lies ahead. Along the way, camaraderie forms among the suffering tourists. Strangers become friends as you share snacks, stories, and words of encouragement. Laughter echoes through the mountains, even as everyone secretly wonders how much farther there is to go. We all start lying to each other, almost there, even when we know there's another hour of climbing ahead. It's a shared joke, a way to keep spirits high as the trail tests us all. Finally, after what feels like a lifetime of stairs, I reach the sun gate. The sense of accomplishment is overwhelming. I'm sweaty, exhausted, and barely able to stand, but I made it. I'm a broken, sweaty mess, but as I catch my breath and look out over Machu Picchu, I realize I've earned this view in every possible way. The sight of the ancient city shrouded in mist and mystery is more than just a reward, it's a reminder of the power of perseverance. I conquered the Inca Stairmaster, and for a moment I feel invincible. The pain fades, replaced by pride and awe. But let's be honest, after this, I'm never taking the stairs again. Elevators and escalators have never looked so good. No trip is complete without souvenirs, and in Peru, that means haggling at the market. The moment you step into a Peruvian market, you're swept up in a whirlwind of color, sound, and energy. Stalls overflow with hand-woven blankets, stacks of painted gourds, and the sweet scent of roasted corn drifting through the air. The vendors call out, their voices rising above the hum, each promising the best deal, the finest craftsmanship, the most authentic experience. It's a sensory overload, and you can't help but feel a little thrill at the prospect of finding a hidden treasure among the chaos. Armed with bad Spanish and overconfidence, I failed every rule of bargaining. I'd read all the tips, start low, never show too much interest, be ready to walk away, but the moment I tried to put them into practice, my nerves got the better of me. My accent was a giveaway, my smile too eager, and my attempts at negotiation were met with patient, knowing grins from the vendors. My first blanket? Paid double. I was so enchanted by the intricate patterns and the vendor's story about her grandmother weaving it by hand that I didn't even notice the price creeping up. By the time I realized, I was already clutching the blanket to my chest, grinning like I'd won a prize. Tried to walk away, immediately caved. The vendor's gentle, "Amigo, wait!" and a slight drop in price was all it took for me to spin around and agree to the deal. I'd like to think I was being savvy, but really, I just didn't want to disappoint her. Ended up with more gourds, pan flutes, and alpaca gear than I could carry, all at special prices for me, their new best friend. Every vendor had a just-for-you offer, and I was powerless to resist. My arms were soon overflowing with treasures, each one a testament to my lack of bargaining skills and my inability to say no to a friendly face. The vendors are masters, I was an easy mark. Their smiles are disarming, their stories captivating, and their patience endless. They know every trick in the book, and they can spot a rookie from a mile away, but there's a warmth to the exchange, a sense that this is as much about connection as commerce. Their stories are irresistible. How can you bargain with someone whose cousin sheared your sweater's alpaca? One vendor told me about the mountains where the wool was gathered, another about the festival where the gourds were painted. Each item came with a tale, and I found myself wanting to believe every word, to take home not just a souvenir, but a piece of their world. I left with bags of treasures and the realization I'm terrible at haggling. My wallet was lighter, my backpack heavier, and my heart full. I may not have gotten the best deals, but I'd collected memories and stories that were worth every extra sol. But I had my stories, my pan flute, and a lighter wallet. Every time I look at my souvenirs, I remember the laughter, the music, and the friendly faces that made the market come alive. The pan flute may be out of tune, but it's a perfect reminder of my perfectly imperfect bargaining adventure. The sweet old lady with the blanket, she earned that victory. Her smile was as warm as the wool she sold, and I left feeling like I'd made a friend, even if I'd lost the bargain, and I wouldn't have it any other way. In the end, the real treasures weren't the things I bought, but the moments I shared and the stories I brought home. That's the magic of a Peruvian market, where every purchase is a memory, and every memory is priceless. Peru's greatest mystery isn't ancient ruins, it's Lima's traffic. Crossing the street is a high-stakes game of Frogger, with honks as the local language. Lanes are suggestions and drivers treat traffic laws as polite recommendations. My first taxi ride was a white-knuckle thrill ride through a ballet of near misses. I saw things, families on motorcycles, mattresses on tiny cars, buses turning where physics says they shouldn't. Eventually I learned locals don't wait for gaps, they create them. I tried it once, heart-pounding, and survived. Crossing the street in Lima, that's a true rite of passage. And I lived to tell the tale. In the Andes, Wi-Fi is a basic need, just above food and water. Arriving in a mountain town, the panic sets in. No service. The hunt begins for a cafe with that precious Wi-Fi sign. You order coffee you don't want, type in a 30-character password, and pray for bars. Andean Wi-Fi is moody. 3 minutes of bliss, then nothing. Tourists huddle outside hotels, phones raised, worshipping a single bar of signal. I became obsessed, choosing restaurants for rumored upload speeds. Disconnection is good for the soul, but my Instagram followers disagreed. The Wi-Fi quest is humbling, hilarious, and never-ending. So that's Peru. Magnificent, exhausting, and nothing like I expected. The real memories aren't the postcard scenes, but the tiny, ridiculous moments, being humbled by stares, rejected by llamas, and joining the Wi-Fi huddle. Travel is about collecting these weird, wonderful stories, not just checking boxes. Embrace the chaos, laugh at your mishaps, and let the awkward stumbles become the adventure. Thanks for joining my slightly strange journey. If you like sarcasm over scenery, stick around and subscribe. And if you go to Peru, don't forget the headache medicine. You'll need it.